The Tea Party guy Joe Miller, who's running for the Senate in Alaska. Race is tight between him and write-in candidate Lisa Murkowski, also a Republican. Last Thursday, members of a local CBS affiliate news team made a mistake with a cell phone and were heard disparaging Mr. Miller, and that does not sit well with Ms. Palin.
You know how to call it. You're relying that one. And the one thing we can do, well, we won't know, but if there's any sort of chaos whatsoever, we can put out a Twitter and Facebook alert saying, you know, what the new feed is. Hey, Joe Miller clenched at rally. It's kind of like grandpa. I like that. That's a good one.
Those are corrupt bastards, Chris. That's what is wrong with the media today when they have their chosen one, and 9 times out of 10, heck, 10 times out of 10 in the liberal media, it's going to be the liberal is the chosen one. So we have a problem there with what Joe Miller has had to face.
All right, with us now, former governor of Alaska, current Fox News analyst, Sarah Palin. Did you really call them bastards?
Well, up there, and it's not a term of endearment.
No, I know that.
There is a group of what had been perceived as corrupt politicians that went by the CBC moniker, the Corrupt Club.
Yeah.
And so Alaskans understood exactly what I was talking about.
Oh, so you had that was in context. That reference was in context to Alaska politics.
Yeah, to the CBC group up in Alaska. Some of the folks who are now in prison for corruption.
I don't mind you just doing an ad hominem attack. Those people should all be fired.
It was a little bit of that too, yes.
Yeah, they should all be fired immediately. That is not a CBS-owned station. It's an affiliated station. They carry CBS program. Most people should be fired. Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Absolutely. There's no accountability in this bogus explanation of leave it to the beaver guy who tried to explain it.
You wouldn't think that would happen in a place like Alaska when the population reflects pretty much what your belief system is. It's a very red state. It is very conservative, but the media is liberal in Alaska.
Absolutely, very, very liberal, very biased, and you know, I hate to see somebody else go through what Todd and I and my administration, what we had gone through and what we continue to go through in Alaska with the local media, but there's light shed now via this tape that Joe Miller was suffering.
There's no doubt what they were doing.
There is light shed on what other people go through up there.
Trying to trump up something against Miller.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, bad.
Do you believe that this vote tomorrow is a referendum against liberalism? Do you think that Americans are rebelling against liberalism?
Absolutely. Americans are going to say tomorrow, enough is enough, and let's get some common sense solutions in there, turn things around.
So it's an anti-liberal vote rather than a pro-anything else vote?
It is an anti-big government overreach vote, and it is a let's get back to common sense vote. So, yeah.
Okay, because that's what liberalism is, big government and let the government control.
Yeah.
Now, can you be too far right as a candidate? Some of the candidates that you backed aren't going to win because they're perceived as being too far out there to the right. Christine O'Donnell.
And if she doesn't win, I'm still very happy to have thrown at least my name in an endorsement towards Christine, as opposed to her opponent in the primary, and then of course in the general.
But he would have won.
Not necessarily. Nobody guarantees that. So,
no,
you know, I don't believe that premise
He was way
at all.
ahead in the poll.
Well,
I'll tell you
I don't believe. But here's the difference.
Okay,
he's for cap and tax, wishy-washy on Obamacare.
Certainly not. He's not a conservative guy.
So why in the world would I go along to get along like a lot of the rhinos do and just say yes to somebody who would cast liberal votes anyway once they got there? And
rhinos are Republicans in name only.
Obama, Pelosi, and Reid.
Okay, but Rove would say and has said publicly, look, he may not be your favorite guy, but this guy probably could have beaten Coons, and that would have thrown the Senate into Republican hands, which would further diminish President Obama's power.
Yeah, and that kind of thinking of just embracing the status quo, oh, guys, that maybe could have been a safe bet and could have won anyway, that status quo, that is the mess that we're in.
So you would rather not have control of the Senate and have ideological purity than at least give a couple of guys who you're not too crazy about, but have the honor.
Show me the polls or show me any numbers that guarantee that the Republican would have won anyway.
No,
well,
but he was way ahead. What's his name? The skinny guy, the old guy? Tell me somebody.
Coons,
no.
Castle is who she defeated.
Castle. Thank you. You're smarter than
Castle.
Everybody upstairs.
Darn right.
They're all going like this. What are you doing? Okay. What is he talking about? Yeah. Castle. Okay. Can you be too far right in this country?
At this point in time, with the State of the Union, no.
You can't be too far right.
Any of that far right ideological bent that somebody would have is going to balance out the extreme far left liberal policies that are being adopted, this government takeover of our private sector.
So you can't.
Heck, more power to
you know
the far
Palladino
right.
was running for governor here? You know him?
I never met him, but I know that.
Okay, but
yeah.
he's pretty far right out there.
Well,
he
yeah,
wants to
he's
go in
running
with a baseball
for
bat.
governor, so that's up to the New Yorkers to decide.
I know that.
But no, a far right bent would be a healthy. We need a balance of power here, Bill. Look at this extreme liberalism that has control of the House, the Senate, and the White House right now. No, we got to balance that out.
Okay.
And that's another message that will be sent on Tuesday against failed policy, against the monopoly of power.
Yeah, I'm just wondering
if
you get candidates though who do say crazy things on the right or the left. I think most Americans aren't going to vote for them.
Yeah, and look at those crazy things that those on the left have said, like Grayson, like Barney Frank. I mean, we can go
They're
down
both in
that
trouble,
extreme
Grayson
list
and Barney. And
yeah,
you just heard Barney's lending his own money. Do you know Barney?
Yeah. I spoke with him, yes. At
you try to get a loan from Barney.
It was
Go ahead,
funny
try.
too. So we had an event where Barney Frank was the Democrat or the liberal speaker, and as opposed to me on the right as the speaker. And I got up there at the podium and I said, you know what's odd about this is I'm perceived as the controversial one, and he's the he's the mainstream one. Only in.
Yeah. Well, they're both in trouble. Now, out in the most intriguing race to me of all of them is Sharon Angle versus Harry Reid.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, you threw in with Angle fairly early,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
What is it about her that you like other than the ideological purity? Is there anything else?
She not only has a good resume where she served honorably in her own legislature there, so she has a good political record, and that is a point right there, is she has a record. We know where she's going to be on positions, on policies, on issues, because she's voted for those in the past. But she also has a vision for America that is what we need right now.
Yeah, coincides with your vision.
It is. So that's why I chose her.
How
good
bad
record
is Reid?
and good mission.
How bad is Reid?
Reid he's part of the problem, and he would just perpetuate more of the problem. He believes that government is the answer.
Okay, so it's as simple as that. It's basically
it's as simple as that, and he's got the record to prove it. We've learned because of Obama now, don't vote for anybody when you don't know their record or when they don't have a record. You have to know what it is that they would stand for.
Now, you've been teasing people with the presidential thing. You know you're doing that. If nobody else wants to run, I'll run, that kind of thing.
Yeah, funny that it's perceived as tease when it's an honest answer. I don't know if I'm going to run or not.
Okay, but it's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible.
So
if
don't
you
feel
run,
teased.
will you give me an interview? Can I continue to interview if you run?
Well, of course.
Okay. Now I have it.
Yeah.
Now I have it on videotape. Well, that would be interesting if you run. That would be really interesting.
It would be very interesting,
right.
I'm sure, because there is that curiosity factor that never seems to diminish.
And they can't say anything worse about you,
That's
right?
the thing.
Right.
It would be a freeing, unconventional, very independent
They've already
run
taken every shot they can take.
You would think so. I mean, they still question whose kid is that kid? Is it really my kid? And, yeah.
All right.
So it's never ending, but it would be.
Well, Governor, we're going to keep a close eye on it, and we really appreciate you coming in tonight.
Of
Thank
course.
you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Plenty more Heads of Fact moves along this evening. Did the Jon Stewart rally accomplish anything? We have some behind-the-scenes information for you. And then Bernie Goldberg.